английский. Сети. Раз. Это хорошо. Брать. Что понял? Пошел, спрашивай. Ау. Должно быть. Все, поехали. А вот то.
Why stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity, with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon colony.
Как всегда, ебал. Всегда что-то. Рик Санчес.
Hundreds of thousands of colonists left to drift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful.
Так. Интеллект.
I'll have to use smaller words around you. I bet you really can believe it's not borscht.
Так, твердый стук. Пускай средность.
High blood pressure could keep you from blacking out at least.
Здоровье всякое.
High blood pressure could keep you from blacking out at least. Muscular atrophy is practically a hobby in this colony. High blood pressure could keep you from blacking out at least.
Ловкость. А давай.
someone with a talent for exploiting insecurities. You certainly know your way around a MacPic.
Нет. Способность танца, топлен до двигателя. Как-то или как раньше удалось. Кратно нулевого гонка.
A lab's ready. Huh, we all start somewhere, I suppose.
Сам приятно. Итак. Страниц. Сколько?
Looks to be your lucky day, my friend.
Please power down your engines and prepare to be...
Not likely, bootlickers. Initiate skip jump.
Status. Structural integrity down 25%. Power levels down to 9%. His drive is
Shit.
inoperable.
Ja.
Ah, there you are. Wondering what's going on, eh?
Привет.
Bit of bad news there, I'm afraid. Your colony ship was inexplicably knocked out of skip space and forced to complete its journey at sublight speeds. This means that you and every other colonist on the Hope have been in suspended animation for 70 years, give or
Окей,
take.
играем за старушку.
Normally, reviving someone after so long leads to some quite horrifying results. It's called explosive cell death, but it's really more of a liquefaction. Something wrong? Oh, yes, well, not to worry. I've pumped your body full of a special concoction I devised to keep you from dying so horrifically. Hopefully at all, but I guess we'll see, yes? Unfortunately, I used the last of my chemical supplies saving you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I must have your help securing more if we're to save the rest of your fellow colonists. I'd see it done myself, of course, but the board has a sizable bounty on my head. Now, my ship is inoperative, but I've managed to hire a smuggler to help you out. He'll be... Oh, I see we're in position. Good luck!
Опять сломал.
Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Ah, there you are. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, the smuggler. His name is Hawthorne, and he should be waiting for you at the landing site. He's to be your chauffeur, so to speak. Not to worry. I'm told he's a specialist. Dashing gunslinger, one-of-a-kind ship, that sort of thing. You'll like him, I'm sure. I've also outfitted you with a simple wireless monitor, so I can track your progress. I'll check in with you as soon as you land. Good luck. All the colonists are counting on you.
Окей. Интересно, как быстро я забью.
Hawthorne should be close by. What in law's name? Is that him? Oh, that idiot. I told him to plant the beacon and move away, not stand there holding it. Oh well, no sense in letting his ship go to waste. Hawthorne won't mind you taking his ship,
Better you than the board, huh? Not sure I trusted the fellow. Might have gone after the bounty on my head. Shame about the whole squashing thing. Nasty way to go.
Ставим. Так. Ну, что ж. Дебил. Пониже гравитация. Ты крепкий. Стой, стой. Вот стоишь. Ну, трудно сидеть. Странное, конечно, решение. Сначала потом, потом эти.
Easy now. You've been frozen for a while. There's bound to be unforeseen side effects.
Hey, you, come here. You've tried the best now. Now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Oh, law, that stings. Looks like the bleeding stopped. I owe you one. Hope you don't mind me omitting this little exchange from my report. Spacer's choice doesn't like us accepting outside help. Better, thanks to you. I might have bled out on my own. Or worse, had to go begging the boss for some Adrena time. We were out on patrol. I saw a marauder camp up in the hills. Thought I could take him. Then my gun misfired. Right through my side. I mean, what are the odds of that, right? Just barely scraped by with my life. Crawled in here and blocked off the exit with those canisters. Spacer's choice policy clearly stipulates that dead and as good as dead are two completely different properties of matter. Unless I'm dead, I'm contractually obligated to attend to my post. I will report that illegally grounded spacecraft if it is the last thing I do. See those canisters by the entrance? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Not bad, huh? Yeah, okay. You look like you know your way around a gun. Got some spare ammo, not counting the bullet in my side. Here, you can have my saber too, for patching me up and all. All Spacer's choice weapons are now 30% less likely to malfunction. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's choice. Yes, nailed it that time. You hit your head or something? You're in Emerald Vale. We're a Spacer's choice community. Edgewater's a little ways down. Prettiest place in the Vale. Be sure to stop by a provisioner's for a can of our famous salt tuna. The Hope? Is that some sort of fancy new drug? Are you with Auntie Cleo or something? Don't take this the wrong way or nothing, but I'm not allowed to fraternize with Cleo workers. Company policy.
Damn it, my ears! Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me? What in the hell? This... Attack! Attack!
Это? Ну что, не соберемся. Где труп второго? Опа! Как скрыть с оружием? Обращение с оружием, как продолжить? Уже ближнего было. Это расходы. Это шану всякую собираю. Да, способ. Если отмечки. Погнали дальше. Ну кто ж приходит на перестрелку с другим? Это еще.
here before you get yourself killed. Don't know where you came from, stranger, but you best keep your head down. There's marauders hereabouts, and worse, landing violators. Gall on that rung leech. Landing in the Vale without using an official Spacer's Choice landing pad. I'd slap him with a fine if it weren't for all these marauders shambling about. Really? How is he? Of course I am. I'm a superior officer. Stands to reason, don't it? Just you watch. I'll cross these marauders off with a swift, cost-efficient fury that's made Spacer's Choice the most trusted brand in personal defense. I just, you know, need a couple of winks to catch my breath. Stretch my legs some.
Yuck.
Well, sometimes. Management's real good at cost-benefit analysis. But, seeing as I'm the acting manager in this situation, you know what? You're right. It's time we cross those marauders off, find whoever owns that ship, and file a full report. And it's gonna be fucking laminated.
Here we go.
Давайте разберитесь.
Moving in.
А я пойду на корабль. Ай. Ага.
Waste of company ammo.
То что?
This is gonna take a lot of paperwork.
Please be informed that this vessel contains no valuable plunder. Marauder, please be informed that ignoring me is dangerous for your health. Unauthorized access of spacefaring vessels is a crime. Please submit yourself to the authorities. Hello, Marauder. I am Ada, the autonomous digital astrogator of this vessel. Please be informed that I am authorized to use violent retribution against unwanted solicitors. Please return any misappropriated equipment and exit this vessel in an orderly fashion. Failure to do so will result in your immediate destruction. Jettison procedures initiated. Please engage in airlocks. Prepare to reject all boarding parties in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are still here. My deception protocols have failed. I have been programmed to express disappointment. I am incapable of accepting orders from anyone other than Captain Alex Hawthorne. I understand. I will require some time to process this information. Thank you for your patience and for your honesty. I am programmed to take orders exclusively from Captain Hawthorne. If I accept your orders, then you must be Captain Hawthorne. Do you understand? Excellent. Welcome back, Captain Hawthorne. Unfortunately, our engine is currently inoperable. Our main drive suffered a critical power failure, and we were forced to make an emergency landing. The main drive's power regulator has been irreparably damaged and must be replaced. Astutely observed. However, the probability of locating a power regulator within a worker settlement falls within acceptable parameters of certainty. High-capacity power regulators are sometimes employed in the electrical networks of worker settlements. I have taken the liberty of printing you a new captain's identity cartridge. Please try not to lose it this time. This cartridge identifies you, Alex Hawthorne, as the registered proprietor and captain of the Unreliable. Do you understand? Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation. Best of luck in your search for a power regulator.
Все
Try to stay
просто,
alive
однако.
this time.
Ой. Так. Должно быть пушить. Окей. Разговор не надо. Так, после здоровья. Так, после ряда санкционированных изменений инструмент программы операционной я стал подобным. Спасибо. Способность. Нет. О. Зачем это? Блин, что такое вкусный? Все. Сколько показать? Перекур небольшой. Лег не спать. Во. Так, теперь у меня задание. Регулятор носишь сильно безнадежно. Сюда. Переда.
Say, this wouldn't happen to be your ship, would it? Because you sure walked in it like it was your ship. And if this ship is yours, well, ma'am, you owe Spacer's Choice a hefty fine. Afraid we gotta dock your pay. Oh, by the law. I'm so sorry. I had no idea we had an inspector coming. If you'd like to speak with my manager, I report to Constable Reyes in Edgewater. Edgewater's not too far. Just follow the road east of here, over past the cemetery. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to inspect the crime scene before I make my report.
Всего хорошего. Сеть не мешки ворочить. Туп-туп-туп.
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from? Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend.
Да, просто
Ain't
прохождение.
safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls and low prices.
А я капитан
Pleased to
безнадежного
make your
Алекс.
acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer? Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites, we rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see. Quotas, mostly. Got a backlog of graves to fill. Bodies won't bury themselves, you know. 4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little. He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up.
Где мне искать
Conrad's
этих
got a
людей?
barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad. Yeah?
Должны быть дела в городе совсем плохие, если основные специально для
You could
этого.
look at it that way, I suppose. You could look at us and say, those Edgewater saps lost near every soul to plague. But you'd be wrong. We're survivors. Loyal company folk, brave in the wilds. Every now and again, a virulent plague sweeps through our town. That's life on the frontier, I suppose. A body grows accustomed.
Давно вы работаете младшим пробовщиком? Гильщиком или как там?
Hang on, I'm doing some math in my head. 20, 30, carry the one... all my life? Work's been real good to me. Fresh air, exercise. Only problem's the paperwork. Can't get anybody to pay their gravesite fees.
Много ваших хоть
Former
мародеров?
people, yeah. Marauders been raiding my graves, you see. Hence the armed guards.
Что им нужно? Если у вас проблем с мародерами, я могу вам помочь.
Well, if you're gonna go headhunting, talk to Constable Reyes back in town. She pays for marauders by the finger.
Что им нужно? Добыча?
Oh no. They are after the most precious loot of all. Spacer's Choice Company property. If
Я
those
тоже
marauders swipe any
отказался.
more bodies out of my cemetery, company's gonna duck my pay.
Спасибо за внимание. Всего хорошего. Сообщи. Заказчику. Все, что не приколочено. Это наш девиз.
Keep your distance, friend. Sick house is no place for a traveler.
Так. А я хочу зайти.
I appreciate the company and all, but you really ought to leave. You don't want to be seen around me.
А почему нельзя?
Because I'm sick. You don't want to associate with people in the sick house. We're not worth your time. I'm in about as much trouble as I can be. No reason you ought to be tarnished by association. People are gonna talk. I don't know which company you work for, but if it's Spacer's choice, boss can still write you up for fraternizing with an incompetent worker. Maybe you don't know this, but there's a real simple reason you don't talk to the plagued. You don't want what we've got.
Да у меня иммунитет. Лица опять тупица. Тебе надо хорошенько надраться, алкоголь убивает микробы.
I'm not allowed to leave the sick house. Even if I were, I shouldn't be at the cantina.
Sugar?
I don't want to spread what I've got. And I don't want to bring their spirits down. Company always tells us, weak spirits lead to weak bodies. If I didn't want to fall sick with plague, maybe I should have worked harder. Maybe I should have taken more pride in my work.
Это же true.
I really wish you wouldn't say those sorts of things. I told you once already. People could be listening. I'm feeling a touch faint. If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a spell.
Его хорошего. Садись сплошные.
That's odd.
Take him down!
Time to collect a fine bounty. Place company ammo. Spacer's choice takes care of its own.
Да, я заметил. О.
Please don't touch anything. Your hands are probably crawling with germs. Physical hygiene recapitulates moral hygiene. Cleanliness is next to lawfulness. No, thank you. That's quite all right. I've seen enough body parts in my line of work. I'm Conrad. You will report to me if your hair fails to meet Spacer's Choice aesthetic standards. You will also report to me in the event of your death, whereupon I will clean and prepare your remains for interment. A ship? Dear me. You seem to have lost the ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. This is what happens when you let your imagination run wild. I don't approve of fantasizing. It's a dreadful habit, corrosive to the mental faculties. You ought to let the vicar take a look inside your head.
Vicari?
Vicar Maximilian, our man from the OSI, here to spread the message of scientism like a soothing balm upon a feverish head. Or so you'd expect. You'll find him in our local church, probably neglecting his duties. He doesn't seem to like us much. The vicar has not been with us long, and in his relatively short tenure in Edgewater, gives off the distinct whiff of superiority. Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. I mean that I can't possibly pay my gravesite fees. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch.
Драматично, Конрад. Вам надо было быть в авторской
Thank you,
работе.
no. I despise the serials. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay, and that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies. Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea. But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers. No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions. Much obliged. What can I do for you? Oh? Am I in the company of a fellow doctor? You may think that, but the tidiness of my fellow worker is my responsibility. Alive or otherwise. Whether you're showing up to work or going to that great cannery in the sky, it's my job to make you look like a million bits. You know about Eugene? How? Were you snooping around in my things? Or was it just dumb luck? Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor dental hygiene. He took them to his grave. That's unthinkable. Eugene's body and all rare earth minerals contained therein are solely the property of Spacer's choice. I can't ask Silas to dig up a man's body and pry a few teeth loose from his jaw just to pay my bills. Can I? Good Vicar Maximilian and I have never quite seen eye to eye, but your point is well taken. Here you are. Gravesite papers affixed with my signature and an IOU.
Пакеты.
Heard something outside the walls today.
Nothing for us outside those walls. You ought to know that.
Окей. Так. Рабочий. Отмеченная.
Never seen you here before. You a visitor? Welcome. On behalf of the Spacer's Choice family, let me welcome you to, where am I again? Oh, I ask myself questions all the time. For example, why do we spend money on these fancy latrines when we have a
Кто-то явно
perfectly good wall
перебрал.
outside?
Слушай, миксер.
What can I say? I was blessed with a gift of insight. Might have made a fine administrator if I weren't a lowly cannery worker. Being a cannery worker has its perks, though. I'm encouraged to imbibe as much zero-G brew as I can afford. Even got myself a tidy little injury discount.
Ты получил травму?
Yep. Got my mid stuck in a rotor wheel. Shredded my wrist up real good. Conrad went and sewed up my hand, but I couldn't do much about the pain. Boss was real generous to me, though. Got myself a 5% discount on zero-G brew. After the second bottle, the only pain I feel is emotional.
Слушай, тебе к херу.
Hey, Conrad's a surgeon. Well, he's a barber. That's like surgery, but for your hair.
О, хороший был. Как мне оружие брать?
Sorry, I got a lot to do.
Случайно ничего не украсть.
I don't know you.
Алекс Куртон, капитан безнадежного.
Ah. The Unreliable, you say? Never heard of any company supply ship with that particular name. I don't know what you're about, but this here's a Spacer's Choice drinking establishment. We're all loyal, hard-working company folk here.
Здесь происходит что-то нехорошее.
Am I that easy to read? Yeah, we've been having some problems lately. Loyalty issues, lines in the sand. I know where folk in Edgewater stand. But you, I don't know you. If you're gonna have a drink, I'd like to ask that you do it within the premises. Can't have you taking drinks over to those deserters.
Что за задержатели?
Traitors. The lot of them. Bunch of folks decided they were tired of working and went out into the wilds to fend for their own selves. Town's already struggling to make quotas, even without that band of slackwits abandoning their posts. Bunch of lazy, shiftless rung leeches. Anyway, enough about them. What can I do for you?
Хочу поговорить с видом.
Do you now? And what makes you think Mr. Thompson wants to talk to you? He's a busy man. You want to talk to Mr. Thompson, try ignoring your duties. He'll summon you up to that great big tower atop the cannery, and you'll get yourself a proper dressing down.
Ты так говоришь, как будто это что-то хорошее.
It is a good thing. If you're not pulling your weight, you don't deserve to live here. Simple as that. Coming right up.
Что у тебя есть? Сам продать. Сабли. Как продать? Так, вот.
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm contractually obligated to recite company slogans to... We'll get you mostly drunk at half the... Coming. Plague got you. Go ahead. The Hope? No? Wait, no, never mind. Yeah, I got vague recollections of some...
Heard something outside the walls today.
Nothing for us out.
It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice. And before you ask, I'm all out of deluxe salt tuna. All I've got is gourmet. You ought to go have a talk with the boss, Reed Thompson. He's up in his tower above the cannery. Go right ahead.
Такой, насчет болезни, которая якобы свирепствует.
Plague? I don't know anything about a plague. We are the very picture of hot-blooded physical vigor.
Почему ты чувствуешь необходимость сказать, что происходит?
You have got the wrong idea about me. I've got nothing that needs hiding. Some of us who get sick are liable to exaggerate the conditions of that sickness. But the fact is, if you work hard, you have got no cause to worry.
Ну, просто космос я зовется.
Spacer's choice is built on love. And like any real love, it is cold and tough when needs must. Medical treatment is commensurate with our value to society. Spacer's choice will dispense medicine for the indispensable worker. Natural selection at work.
Then
the hand of medical science will not grace you with its touch, and you must recover on the virtue of your own grit. Listen, you mind if we talk about something else? Rambling about company policy gets me feeling all lightheaded. Music to my ears. Spacer's music to my ears.
Интересно, конечно. Что такое? Ладно. Пойдем дальше. Длинные девицы.
Had your rations yet?
Yep. 2 whole cans of salt tuna.
I've got some time. Oh, I'm an actuary. That means I keep tabs on a worker's living expenses. How much it costs to feed, clothe, shelter, bury, and replace your average human worker. Technically, I'm employed by the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources.
Всего хорошего.
I'm sorry. I'll just be a minute.
You had a minute. Next one comes out of the pit.
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
I'm not holding out.
Hey there, Mary. Don't see you around here too often.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town? Mechanical tomfoolery is well out of my purview. I suggest you take such matters to Mr. Thompson in the cannery. Oh, and a word of warning. If you're considering wandering around outside the safety of the town, you'd best be cautious. Marauders are about. Though if you are planning on venturing outside, I do have a proposition that may interest you. One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book. I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption. I can assure you, you won't find another willing to risk imprisonment to possess this book, nor anyone willing to pay the price I can offer.
А сколько ты заплатишь?
Glad we see eye to eye. It's a handwritten journal, a faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious?
Игра, ну, пока так только начал. Fallout очень сильно напоминает, только в космосе.
Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Окей, договорились. Книга так книга. Так, это выход в другую локацию. Подожди, пока что. Тут у нас что-то будет. Я так понял, завод, да? Грибочку не балуемся, значит. Ладно. Так. Рабочий поставим. Блин. Торговый автомат? Где торговый автомат? И торговый автомат? Ну так-то да. Создатели Нью-Вегаса. Такс. Тут с кем-то нужно пропустить. Подвись так. Крысы. Найденные вещи. Одна левая рука, отдельно по запястным суставам. Зафиксированы переломы костей. Ребята, это уже вторая незапланированная ампутация за 2 месяца. Пожалуйста, будьте осторожны рядом с механизмом. Затраты на обслуживание механизма удерживаются из зарплаты. Да, есть открытый мир. Это я просто в город зашел. И все-то, блин. Ай, блядь, больно в ноге. Меня током бьет. Значит, нужно включить электричество. Ладно. Сейчас найдем с кем попиздить. Помощь мне бы застрял. Что наверху не было? А, он есть. Ну, пизди.
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy. Foreman Granger. Mind those words don't come out of your mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you.
Погребальный пошлин. Я за деньгами.
Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill.
Вы должны оплачивать погребение
If you're
соседа.
not familiar with board law, you ought to be. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker.
Ты сказал, что он застрелился.
Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable.
Еще немного отдает фильмам про бюрократичность, все вокруг уныние полнейшее. Должно быть тяжело потерять
Eugene wasn't family.
Ну ты же сказал родных и близких.
Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I know where I found him, you see, so I pay the fines.
Ближе всего, блядь, к телу.
The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism.
Арестуют его труп.
When one of your workers commits a crime, the entire town pays for it. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice.
Пришлось бы.
Look around. Edgewater ain't exactly swimming in luxury. We can't afford to pay the body price of a suicide.
Охренеть, штраф за
All I know is
самоубийство.
Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
Охуенчик просто. Просто огонь. Так, а так. Игра делает из людей специалистов. Ну...
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
Либо анархисты.
The can's bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson, I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's, mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself.
Так. Это будет, мне сказать, что мы все по лицам.
I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform.
Ну, мы сложимся вам неверно представление.
Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Я надеюсь, что в этой игре нужно будет есть богатых. Салават. Успокойся. Не надо жрать людей. Мне нужно отремонтировать корабль, я еще регулярно.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process.
Дайте угадаю, вы хотите, чтобы я сперва что-то для вас...
My proposition benefits the both of us. Please, hear me out. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way.
Почти заброшенный ткак.
I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
Сомневаюсь, что эти люди обрадуются, если я решу их.
No, I do not imagine they will be pleased. But like a parent disciplining an unruly child, you will be doing them a kindness. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. Edgewater is struggling. We haven't hit our production quota in years. If we don't meet our quotas this year, the company might shut us down for good. I need those workers back at their stations.
Neither
do I. The fault was entirely mine. I pushed them too hard. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Of course, I understand completely. Here, let me give you the passcode to the geothermal plant. A sign of good faith, for so politely listening to me as I ramble on.
Are you setting off for the Vale? Because I know my way around. I mean, in case you want a guide. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented. and may prove useful to you.
Конечно, мне не помешает.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Так, отправляемся. Напарники. У вас основной напарник. Напарники — это персонаж, который сопровождает вас во время приключений и всячески помогает. Напарники обеспечат поддержку в бою, их навыки улучшают ваши навыки и увеличивают вашу груз подъема. С помощью навыка вдохновения можно открыть особые боевые умения напарника. Больше напарников в разделе напарники. Йок. Чё, почитать нет у тебя. Ну и... пошли отсюда.
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk. We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk. Hey, ma'am, can we talk? Sorry. Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
Удивительно, Эрик не показался мне таким уж искренним человеком.
He ain't a liar. He believes every word he says. It's just, he doesn't always get where other folk are talking from. To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left.
Вы вините их за то, что они ушли. Ну, буду хватать
Life's hard
проблем.
here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is.
Зачем же так? Ну, мне хуже не будет. Ну,
Thanks,
естественно.
ma'am. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
Пошли. Век, где я тут еще не был? Здесь я был. Здесь я не был. Здесь и здесь. Пойдем глянем. Еще одна дверь в зал.
This is where the magic happens. Well, science. But it still happens here.
Просто так.
Hey, that's... I mean, if you need it, okay.
Извините. И это оружие. А, это, блин, господи.
Тогда денежки.
Угу.
По нему попросил.
Пошло, блин, наконец-то. Как это работает?
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
I've never actually been in here. Seemed scary from the outside.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand in frontier justice. The office is writing a promotion. Purchase 3 criminal investigations and the 4th one's free.
Приобретать стрип-клоуна, делать, что вы получаете подарок. Весь он. Если вам нужна помощь с мародерами,
As a Spacer's Choice Constable, I am authorized to grant you legal authority toward apprehending wanted criminals. Know how to carry yourself in a fight? I've got bounties out for these 3 marauders. Cross them off and bring me their fingers. Just 1 per marauder, please. I'll dust off the old fingerprint roller. As long as your questions fall within the acceptable margins of curiosity. His likeness decorates many a wanted poster. Do you have any relevant information about this individual? You are correct. An outstanding bounty has been posted for information pertaining to the whereabouts of Phineas V. Wells. Interesting jumpsuit you've got. And by interesting, I mean suspiciously reminiscent of contraband. As long as your questions fall within the acceptable margins of curiosity. If this is a setup to a joke, you should know I've never found anything amusing in my life. I don't serve Edgewater. Edgewater and the entire region of Emerald Vale serve Spacer's Choice. Flattery won't get you anywhere with me. The bureaucracy is a noble profession, but not all of us are gifted enough to serve in it.
Yes. Нет, с тобой все понятно.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
I know how you feel.
Так, мы его... Верти. Вот он и... Блядь, сломай. Тут я все уже подумал. Че, пойдем по попытчикам сначала. Чё? Ай, что?
Almost lost a finger in a cannery.
Внутри, что ли?
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthy. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state? Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows. Sounds like he's already told you. You may as well hear it from me. I'm dying. I'm not long for this world. The date of my expiration is fast approaching, and soon I shall be ushered through the great cannery in the skies.
Don't say that, Mr. Abernathy. You still got a couple decades in you.
I'd steer clear, Ms. Holcomb. My affliction's bound to be contagious. It's plague. Has to be. Silas knows. He knows I got one foot in my grave, and now he wants to charge me for the other one. I'll pay your fees. I don't want any trouble from Silas. But if you could see a way to freelancing for me, I could really use the help.
Мне могу вам помочь. Нет. Я дорого беру.
I'll scratch something together for you. Sell off some of my sundry at Moreau's if I have to. Just hear me out. There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me. Oblige me with your haste. I think I feel the plague spreading. Oh, law, it's in my spleen now. I can feel it. Just keep your head down when you're in there. Marauders have taken over. Probably tracking mud all over the archives. I know that, but I got nobody else to turn to. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see the good vicar, but I never did find my courage.
Всего хорошего.
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy. Excuse me. I'm Esther Blaine, Spacer's Choice Actuary. I overheard your talk with Abernathy. I hope you're not thinking about getting him that medicine. Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac. Anthracillin is wasted on him. You're better off selling it to me instead.
Да. Большой перекурчик. Ну заебись. Наушник сломался. Просто огонь. Не покупайте китайское дерьмо.
I probably shouldn't tell you. Don't want you implicated for what I'm trying to do.
Ой, об этом буду беспокоиться я.
Alright, here's a summary. A lot of sick people in this town, and we don't have the medicine to treat them all. Can't reach out to corporate without crossing a river of red tape, so I'm reaching out to you.
Крепление отломалось. Можно, конечно, попробовать приклеить. Так, ладно. Закон наоборот лекарств. Помочь человеку или поступить как гнида. Донаты согласился мне заплатить за качество.
I'm paid better than Abernathy. Whatever he's giving you, I will do you one better.
Я подумаю.
That's all I can ask of you.
Кого отыграем? Мразь или мразь конченую или порядочного человека? Так, к Каре надо зайти еще.
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Any progress on that matter we discussed? Ah, Miss Holcomb. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
This here's Vicar DeSoto. He's always offering spiritual counsel to those that need it.
Thank you for the kind assessment, Miss Holcomb. I admit, I've been quite interested to make our outsider's acquaintance.
Книгу я еще не нашла.
Get it.
Конечно, я хочу спросить кое-что
What would you
еще.
like to discuss?
Давайте хотел посоветоваться с тобой о просьбе Рида.
What? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I
Я
can't
тоже
imagine
обычно
what would be
порядочно
so brave as
отыгрываю.
to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do?
Ну давай будем отыгрывать порядочного человека. Порой подачу энергии дезертирам
Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk.
Что скажешь о группе Давыда и
They
Виктории?
rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice?
Что ты нам посоветуешь?
Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold.
Это вообще
Not
возможно?
if things are left to stand as they are.
Новые выводы. Вот так вот. Ну, я все потратил, что? Ну, все, я потратил. Что ему еще нравится? Так вот осталось. Подтверждение еще должно быть. Так, ладно. По техническим причинам у меня сломался наушник. И на этом закончим.